And you haven't spoken about the election.
Disagreements because I'm much more anti-imperialist, you see, than Bernie has ever been. Bernie's been good on Wall Street greed. I agree with him on that, you see.
He came out very slowly on Gaza. Let me.
This is near the end of the interview where Mehdi's asking Cornel West if he's talked to Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders is supporting Biden, so would he support him? And Cornel West basically says he hasn't talked to them. Anyway, that line that Mehdi said where, yeah, Bernie was slow to recognize Gaza, that got me really mad, okay? Because Mehdi, you are slow. You are slow to recognize that Biden, one could make the argument, is the one that killed these 10,000 women and children and the 32,000 in Gaza. Why? Because on October 7th, you and I and everyone, we all know, Biden could have called Netanyahu and said, if you drop a single bomb in Gaza, if you fly a single F-35 over Gaza, if you use anything that was manufactured in the United States to bomb a civilian's home, that's it. You're cut off. That's it. That's what the president should have done. And the president did not do that. You know it, and I know it. And Bernie Sanders was slow because he understands the power of the Jewish lobby, and he wanted to try and figure out how to do his criticism in a way that would, end the suffering as soon as possible. So to say that Bernie Sanders was slow on this, no, he was quick. He was quicker than anyone. It just boggles my mind you would say that. That's just horrible. Him? You're the one that's slow. Okay, now I'll calm down and get to the rest of this stuff.
My case, it wasn't they would have gone to Biden. Most of them would have stayed at home anyway.
So you don't think you'll influence the election outcome in terms of Biden v. Trump?
No, we don't know because history's complicated.
But you're taking a risk.
Of course you take a risk.
So in 2020...
Anytime you tell the truth and fight for justice, you take a risk.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
In 2020, 44,000 votes in Georgia, Arizona, and Wisconsin basically prevented Trump from being president. It was that narrow. 44,000 people in this country allowed Biden to be president and not Trump. If you get 1 to 2 percentage points, you don't think you'll be influencing that 44,000 next time?
I think part of the bias of corporate media, as you know, they don't look about how Republicans who were tied to Republicans vote Democrats, or Democrats vote Republicans. Usually that's a much larger group than the Green Party or Libertarian Party.
I'm not saying all of your voters are Biden voters. I agree. Exactly. You're right. Some of them are people who would have stayed at home. Some people agree. But if even 44,000 of them are you worried that you might help Trump get re-elected?
I'm worried. There's no doubt
about that. It's not a gotcha question. I'm genuinely wondering how you feel about
it. The worry itself is...
First of all, I have to hand it to Mehdi Hasan that he gave serious during this interview because Cornel West is just saying the craziest freaking stuff. Anyway, but, Mehdi just keeps on with his questions, But at the end, a few times, Mehdi says, I genuinely want to know. What he's really saying is he's sort of saying like, yeah, I know that you're not really seriously running for president. I think we sort of really know that. And you're just getting on here and you're doing your spiel. You're spreading your message, a lot of it, which I agree with. And so, we're playing a game sort of here. I'm going with it, going with the flow. But really, I am sort of curious, like, if you took your beliefs to the point, if you're running for president, and you see that that you would siphon off some votes so Trump would win, would you back out or would you not back out? But to me, and this is what I was sort of saying in the last video, is that's not really a question for Cornel West. Mehdi is asking the question of himself. He's asking, okay, like I said before, and maybe he's not, but I think he's struggling. He's like, okay, am I going to, is it Zeteo or whatever, is this channel, am I going to be about having this view that's better to have a neoliberal like Biden in the White House than having a fascist like Trump? How far do I move from that to the real ideals that I believe in? And it's going to be hard because, like I said in the other video, if he moves more towards the 2% ideals, now again, I don't think it necessarily be Cornel West. Again, the guy he's a story. But if he moves that way, he loses a bunch of people. But if he stays within the, protect Biden, he's also complicit, and this is part of my rant, he's complicit in the genocide of Gaza. Voting for Biden is accepting that genocide, right? Because, again, Biden was the one that is really behind it. So he asked this question a few times in this video. So it's gotten very curious to me because, some people have commented on my YouTube videos. Some are like, they don't like that I'm picking on Mehdi, that I'm not. So I guess there are people that are interested in this subject. So it will be interesting to see. I mean, my personal view is that Mehdi is making a colossal miscalculation. He should not do Zeteo based on his personal views that Trump is a fascist and the Democrats, even though they had bad aspects, are good. I believe that's wrong. I don't think that's how he's wired in his head. I truly believe he's a very objective, even-handed person. So I think he should treat everybody equally. He should have Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, whoever wants to come on his show, he should have them. And he shouldn't basically prejudice his show and his views. He's making a mistake because, like I said, he keeps asking, like, I'm really curious, like, how far would you take your ideals, right? How far would you take your ideals? Would you take your ideals, Cornel West or myself, would I take my ideals so far that Trump would get elected because I alienated, I splintered off some people? Would I take my ideals so far to do that or not? It's a question for all of us. Anyway, hope you found this interesting. As someone commented, the problem in the West is we all think we're politicians and commentators.